integrating the primary health care service both in primary health centers for communicable diseases as well as non-communicable diseases, and try to see that the productive population is swell, and then it will become a demographic dividend whereby we'll be able to send our manpower to the nearby countries we are in need. For instance, or computer engineers and then other various categories, so that we get some foreign exchange, and then if something is left after utilization, that will be an extra, and we'll be able to export to other countries and get the foreign exchange. By that time, we earn something, so that just like any other developed country, we will also be surplus, and then we get some money, and that free money we can use. See, for instance, our country needs protection now. All the neighbors become inimical to our country, and then we have to have our own rockets. We have to our own nuclear weapons, so that we can protect. Just like any other without any dependence, we can go through this. So that's why the greatest contribution made by the demographers to our country is they found that fertility is the main cause for population growth, and they have given clear-cut picture that between 16 and 20 years age group, the women are very fertile, and somehow if you can avoid that period for marriage, you will definitely be able to achieve our goal of just 2 children and then fertility rate of 2.1. So this is the government responsibility. Actually, government has taken its responsibility and see that the primary education is free. In other words, it's a fundamental right, and the Constitution 21A clause, where the education is a fundamental right up to 14 years. That is primary education under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. And thereafter, you have the secondary education also, Madhyamik Abhiyan, Shiksha Abhiyan, which is for children up to 18 years, something like intermediate also they can complete. And particularly for women children, thereafter you have junior colleges. In the name of Kasturba Gandhi, there are some colleges have been running in our own state. Of course, it's a central government program, central government service, where the girl children who are interested in studies, further studies, they can continue their studies, and by that time they will definitely be able to complete 20 years of this. On the other hand, if there are some girl students with the RDL task to go through this difficult phase of higher studies, they may stop at primary studies. For that, the government has created the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Act, system through which the women can join the work along with the men, and there's no difference, there's gender equality, and they will be paid just like male members, 300 or 400 rupees per month, by which they were made independent. That is women empowerment. If that empowerment is there, you can convince the parents of the girl that, you see, there is no need for you to spend anything for your girl child. We will take care of you. We will provide food, we will provide shelter, we will give clothes. There is no necessity of paying the fees. So if you can give that sort of confidence to the parents, they will definitely be able to hand over their girl children to the government for the studies. Isn't it? So this is one particular aspect. Then when they come to the 18 years age, they are actually adolescents. That is budding stage where the children, adult children, we have so many doubts. They will wonder about the sex and how we can prevent childbirth and what are the various communicable diseases, particularly sexually transmitted diseases. Well, these are all things which menstrual hygiene. These are the tricky things which they cannot discuss with their parents, or they cannot ask anybody except their maybe peers. They are also probably no knowledge, and they may transmit wrong knowledge. At that period, government has created Kishora Bala Swasthya Karyakram, a program where counseling will be given both in primary health centers and community health centers, where the particularly girl children would straightly go to the doctor or whoever the qualified paramedical person there. They can talk to them. They can ask all their doubts and then about the HIV, how it can spread, about various venereal disease, how can it spread, what is the correct age of marriage, how to reduce the number of children, and what is various methods of spacing, and all these things. They will be very curious, and this particular training center will be able to clear all the doubts for these children. So after that, of course, anyway, they will get married. They are not dependent on anybody. On their own, usually from the backward community children, they'll definitely be able to gain some employment. For instance, if there is no employment, there is no higher studies for a girl, she can always go for the Narega scheme. So now this is the time for them to go for marriage. So in a village or in a town, particularly these services are needed by the village folk. And then people who are living in slums, they are nothing but, they are from the villages in search of employment, they come over here and living in a congested area. It is no better than, in fact, it's much worse than a village life. So these people, our health department will take up this responsibility. We have paramedical staff where they enter, they advise for the marriage, and soon after the marriage, the couple will become eligible couples. They'll become eligible couples. Eligible couples in the sense, these couple are ready for producing children and add population. So at this stage, the paramedical person, after entering their name in the register, they will become eligible for, first of all, they have to postpone the pregnancy, because at least 2 to 3 years they have to enjoy the marriage bliss. So after that, for that, what they should do? How can they avoid pregnancy? They will have the information from the ANM that there are some methods like spacing methods. You can use condom, you can use oral pills, like that. What are the various methods are available? She will be able to tell them and guide them, and their the couple name will be there in the register, and she has the responsibility at least once in 15 days or once in a month to cover that house, because she has to supply if the couple wants to use condom or oral pills. She has to give at least stock necessary for 1 month. That's why she will be visiting their house, again, spacing, delay of the pregnancy. After probably 20 years, they can have first conception, and she will guide them how to stop the temporary methods which they are using, and they will definitely get worried, panic by female partner, because immediately there may be some disturbance in menstrual cycle, or immediately they may not get conceived, particularly in case of hormones, etc. It takes some time so that the health worker will be confidence, infuse confidence in that. And after a few months, definitely women will conceive, and that will become, she will become an antenatal. From then onwards, the antenatal checkups, antenatal health service will start. At least 4 visits, health worker will make. One of the visits, particularly by the doctor, to eliminate any high risk pregnancies like preeclampsia, hypertension, or you see extreme anemia. Is there any swelling of the feet, etc. Any warning signal, immediately the partner, she will be referred to PHC, and doctor will examine. If it comes, if it falls in the risk group, high risk group, definitely the delivery will be conducted only in the institute or district hospital. So that's very important. Then the antenatal mother will get 2 injections of tetanus toxoid, to prevent neonatal tetanus and postpartum tetanus. Today, tetanus is eliminated in our country. The reason being regular antenatal checkups, and all mothers get these 2 TT injections. That's why there is no neonatal tetanus now. And then during delivery, the health worker and this couple can plan either to have no house delivery. House delivery is no question of any. All deliveries must be in the institute, or the institutional deliveries, where they will plan either to have primary health center, or in district hospital, or in institute, medical institute, as per the advice of the doctor. She will be, a vehicle will be arranged for her to fetch from the house to the PHC, where under Suraksha scheme, one scheme is there, JSY, Janani Suraksha Yojana, where she will be given 1,000 rupees as an incentive, and both partners can stay there. They will be given free food, accommodation, etc. And immediately the child will get the first dose of polio, BCG, hepatitis B, 0 doses vaccination, and they will spend in the hospital at least 48 hours, so that there will be close observation by the health staff and the doctor to detect any complications, etc. Then she will be discharged. As she is discharged, at the time of the discharge itself, the birth certificate of the child will be given by the doctor. It is very difficult in those days, nowadays, to get a certificate, birth certificate. We have to run pillar to post from the panchayat office to collector office, from there to municipal corporation, like that. It will be very difficult to get a birth certificate. Such a thing today, if there is an institutional level, these are benefits for the mothers. They get the birth certificate then and there itself. So after that, the ANM or this ASHA worker will be visiting the house twice in a week, and see the home-based neonatal care. If there is any problem with the child, either umbilical sepsis or fever, such problem immediately she will attend. If necessary, the child will be sent to PHC. So, as far as the nutrition is concerned, after this program, the child along with the mother, they will go to Anganwadi center, where they will be provided food, and then iron folic acid to prevent anemia, iron folic acid tablets. They will distribute, and then child, as soon as attains 5th year, then there is right to education. You see, primary education is free, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. The child, the girl child, will be getting the primary education free of cost, as I said. And then Madhyamika Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, the secondary education. After that, for girl child, there are Kasturiba Gandhi junior colleges where they can have the degree and other studies. After that, they have Mahatma Gandhi employment scheme is there. After that, of course, anyway, our health department is there to give counseling, and then they are independent. Now tell me, where is the lapse of the government in this particular aspect of taking care for our mothers and girl child? Only problem is we are not able to take this particular program to the people. Number one, as a parent department, particularly concerned with this girl child. Of course, women and child welfare department is also there. We have to educate them that these services are available. We utilize these services and come up in life. Of course, in spite of all this, I agree that there is, defaulters, children stop studies. There are, of course, some more social reasons, of course. Anyway, but to a large extent, government is helping for the safety of the girls' child. So this we should utilize. And then the contraceptive services to our today's subject, contraceptives. You see, there are so many contraceptives, family planning methods, and contraceptives. Our aim is to see that at one end we need spacing. Spacing means avoiding pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy. And then to have the wanted pregnancy at a particular gap. And then if the children are sufficient, if you want to go for permanent methods, like that. We have two, as per the classification, there were two classes of contraceptive methods. One is spacing methods, popularly called as temporary methods, that is barrier methods, condom, and then intrauterine contraceptive devices. These are the barrier methods. And another one is oral pills is also there. That is another method. And then you have permanent terminal methods, popular permanent family planning operations, that is for males, vasectomy and tuberculosis. And you know, all these services are provided free of cost to the below poverty line people or anybody. Whoever goes to government service, all these services are free for them. So the particularly these temporary methods, there are so many cultural factors in our own country. There are religions, different castes. Their customs are different. One thing which is useful for one religion is not accepted by the other religion. Uniformly, a contraceptive, temporary contraceptive, it must be cheap, it must be readily available, it must be effective, and it should work independent of sex, independent of coitus, and then easy to follow, and then almost nil supervision by any medical person. We want such type of contraceptive For a long time, search was going on. Ultimately, we could not have such a contraceptive which is accepted by all religions, all customs, all traditions, all castes, all socio-economic status population. So finally, what we have done is cafeteria approach, where we just say that these are the various methods available. Depending upon the convenience, whatever is useful for you, you can follow. So now, when you come to the classification of the contraceptive methods, we have temporary methods. In temporary methods, we have very well-known and very cheap, and everybody knows about it, is a barrier method called condom, which is very cheap. It is, of course, supplied by the government free of cost. As soon as the eligible couple register enters in the book, it is the responsibility of the ANM. If the couple decided to use the condom every month, he has to go and hand over this condom pieces. So we have this condom, and then this apart from this male condom, female condoms are also there. And then you have chemical methods like jellies, and then some paste, spermicides, and sponges. All these are the messy things. Actually, our National Family Welfare Program did not support all those methods, temporary methods. Temporary methods are: number one, condom; number two, oral pills; number three, intrauterine contraceptive device. These three are promoted by the government in our National Family Welfare Program. When we come to condom, way back in 19th century, in some archaeological excavations, they found this particular condom. It appears to be made from the intestine of an animal. So the use of condom was there in antiquity also. But it appears that from 18th century, the condoms made up of the latex or the rubber are being used first by Germany. During the First World War, we know Germany fought against Britain and France. The First World War was there from 1914 to 1918. Yes. At the end of the period, America also joined in the Allies. Germany, what they did was they supplied condoms to all their soldiers, whereas the American troops, they did not use the condoms. The result, ultimately, what happened was, Germany, no venereal diseases, but in US troops, 40,000 people were affected with various gonorrhea, syphilis, etc. So at that time, actually, the condom used to prevent sexually transmitted disease, how important it is, we came to know. Of course, from that time onwards, there were modifications, there were various suggestions, and slowly they are getting improved in their shape or in their texture, usage, etc. The structure of this condom is, it is about 15 centimeters length, and then you have a small teat at the end, and then a ring at the upper side where it's snugly. It has to be used when the penis is erect, and then the teat has to be just pressed so that air will come out, and then semen will be collected during ejaculation there. And it can be used only once. It has to be disposed, that's all. So that is the structure. And in the beginning, however much our health staff advised about usage of this condom, the utilization was very less. Utilization was very less. But the thing is, from 1985, after we have this HIV infection, people realized its importance, and it is part and parcel of life for anybody in any country. It becomes so popular that it not only prevents birth, it is also useful for preventing the sexually transmitted diseases. So it became such a popular thing now. There is also social marketing. It has got social marketing. Social marketing in the sense, particularly in cities and slums where the sex workers are there, and also habitual promiscuous people for such people. Social marketing is nothing but they should be available very easily, free of cost, at many places. When I was sent to Mumbai for some training program, I have seen in Mumbai, the social marketing is so well managed that you can get the condom at Sulabh complexes, Sulabh Sauchalayas. You can have them from pawn shops, you can have them from kirana shops, you can have them from the health workers, you can have the sub-center, you can have the PHC. Anywhere, even opinion leaders also, this particular condom was kept with them and distribute freely, whoever asks this. So that is the usage of the condom. And we will suffice to know what is the failure rate with this condom. If regularly used, the failure rate is very minimal. 3 women here, 100 women here. 3 per 100 women. That means 100 women are practicing this condom with their partner for a period of 1 year. Then there is a chance of pregnancy just in 3 women. That's all. That is the advantage of this condom. But of course, failure also there. Failures, in a sense, it is a condom which has to be readily available at the time of coitus. See, they have to arrange in such a way that they have some forethought. Otherwise, whatever at the time of coitus we search for condom, it definitely will become a messy thing, and then ultimately mishap can happen. So that is one. And other vague complaints like we are not getting the happiness, the tactile sense, etc. When compared to the normal sex. These are all subjective things. Many people have used to it, and people who complain in the beginning also afterwards they express their satisfaction. And these condoms are very well established now, and the most important thing is the couple usually they will be fearing there is a pregnancy, early pregnancy, there will be a problem for them. So they want to avoid pregnancy. That's why they cannot go for any permanent method. They have to use only this method. So if there is no pregnancy, they will really enjoy the bliss if the fear of pregnancy is gone from their mind. So that's why these condoms are very important for the initial postponement of the pregnancy and further spacing between the children. Of course, ultimately, you see, the government has given such a guarantee to the couple that if the child is born, in older days, what used to happen is the couple used to beget some 6 children, 7 children, 9 children, 10 children. The reason being, the infant mortality and maternal mortality was so high, half of the children used to die, only half of the children used to survive. That's all. So, nobody has given them guarantee that if they beget only 2 children, they can survive, and it is a guarantee. There was no procedure like that. So, nowadays, starting from the hospital, 0 dose, we are implementing the national immunization schedule in such a way that it covers all some 9 killer diseases for children, and we have the booster doses. When the child completes 1.5 years, he is protected from all the communicable diseases, and definitely he will survive. So in the same way, the second child is also protected, and second child is also grown up without any problem, without any disease, then the couple will have confidence. That is the reason why nowadays the couple are coming to get family planning operation. Particularly in South, they are so motivated. After 2 children, sometimes rich people, well-to-do people, educated people, only 1 child, a girl or a boy, they are coming in getting operated for permanent methods. In fact, you'll be surprised to know that in all the southern states, the fertility rate is even less than 2. And our target is 2.1 is sufficient. But the problem is, bigger states like UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, and then Madhya Pradesh, all these states, it is more than 3, beyond 3. They are not able to contribute for this population control. That's why, as a country, we have to go a long way still. But region-wise, particularly Kerala, we are all very well advanced, and people are thoroughly convinced that 2 children are enough. Usually they will survive. Maybe in a stray cases, they may die with that. Still, there is some mortality, infant mortality, but not child mortality. Child mortality to a large extent has been cut down. Particularly the rotavirus vaccine, where in villages, watery diarrhea and children mortality is there. Now we have this vaccine also. And the expertise and the availability of the intravenous fluids, and then knowledge of the paramedical workers, particularly ASHAs, intellectual ASHAs. So all these people, above all, we have in the district newborn child care centers, latest equipment. So there is no problem. Children will definitely survive. That's why they repose confidence on us. Even without much work also, on their own, they are coming at operations. Of course, there are some areas religion-wise. Usually, Hindus are usually come forward for permanent family planning operations. Muslims a bit less. Like that, definitely it will be compensated. That's not a big problem. So, spacing and in spacing methods, condom has got such a wonderful value. And the second thing is, if you go for intrauterine contraceptive devices, it is a wonderful device. It is a wonderful device. And in our own time and in our own knowledge, it has been invented. It was in way back 1966 or 67, I think, when we were children. A small device called Lippis loop. The name it is a Lippis loop. Acrylic material, plastic material. Has no reaction with human tissue. It cannot harm any, kept inside the body, it cannot do any harm. That Lippis loop first introduced into the uterus and observed what happens. Except little bit bleeding and sometimes there's some pain in the pelvis. Most of the times, women are supporting this particular method. You see, when once you introduce Lippis loop into the uterine cavity, it can be left there for a period of 5 years. Such a long period. The women or the couple need not bother about anything about pregnancy and the problems after pregnancy. Their mind is so free, they are so happy when the Lippis loop is introduced into the uterine cavity. So that gained popularity, and there was a lot of studies conducted on this particular Lippis loop. You must be knowing that ours is the first country in 1953. We started National Family Planning Program. We were the first country. In spite of developed countries there, our country is the first country. So around 65, this Lippis loop was invented, and then it was tested in population, conducted certain studies, and ultimately come to a conclusion that to a large extent it is useful. In few people, if there is some pain or if there is some bleeding, it's not controlled. Okay, we'll take it out. There's no problem. We'll go for other method, other spacing methods. But more than 80% people are happy with this particular Lippis loop. So that's why the central government separated a department, separate department for family planning, separate department. Till such time, the medicine, the health was only state subject, never it is a central union subject. Then, because a department was created in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Health, at those times we used to call it Ministry of Health. This department was also added to that, and they started giving a lot of funds to encourage this family planning methods, to motivate the population towards accept this population control methods, temporary methods. Because the Lippis loop has got a permanent virtue for a long period. In every PHC, the medical officers were properly trained, the health staff are properly trained how to introduce the Lippis loop and how to convince the women. And now and then, only thing is the women should will be small threads. Now and then she has to search for the threads. The threads are okay. Then it is in the uterine cavity. There is no problem. So it is very easy for the mother also. So because of that, they started using this Lippis loop on a large scale. This was the first generation intrauterine contraceptive device. This was going on for a long time. Then second generation this intrauterine contraceptive devices came. The second generation is called copper T device. Copper T device. It is also an acrylic material. It looks like T letter. But only thing is that the entire letter will be wounded with copper, pure copper. Somehow they found that copper is spermicide. It will be able, in small quantities also, it will be able to kill the sperms. So they have started this copper T device. What is the advantage of copper T device? Copper T device is very small. When compared to Lippis loop, and it's very easy to introduce. And the side effects are very minimal. Side effects are very minimal. Every mother is able to retain that copper T device. So this is the second generation contraceptives, intrauterine contraceptive device. So from Lippis loop, they have shifted to copper T device. For a long time, Lippis loop was used. But over a period of time, what happens? There are rare cases of uterine perforation. That Lippis loop, to find its position, actually there is a small barium cover of the Lippis loop, and if there is any doubt, the mother was subjected to X-ray because it's a barium film is there. They will be able to detect the placement of the Lippis loop. Sometimes it was there in the peritoneum. So we don't know what is the mechanism. Sometimes there is no tone for the uterine muscle or something happened and it has gone into the peritoneal cavity. So of course, you know, peritoneal cavity means peritonitis, sepsis. It is very difficult to make the women to survive because there were no such powerful antibiotics in those days. So to avoid that, there was continuously research was going on this family planning methods, particularly this intrauterine contraceptive devices. So as the next generation, they found copper T device. Copper T is very small. The upper two ends will go towards the fallopian tubes, and the straight stick will be there in the uterine cavity up to internal os. So there it will stay. The copper is there in the coating. Slowly the copper is released, and the retention time may be sometimes 5 years, even 10 years. You can leave the copper T device. Now and then, of course, if they have any problem, they can see the doctor or paramedical staff. Necessary help to give to the mothers. Yes, when this copper T was going on, there was another third generation intrauterine contraceptive device where it is covered with hormone, progestogen hormone, which is as a just a copper T device. There is no copper ring, but instead of copper ring, there is a progestogen, about 38 milligrams or so, it will be integrated. When it is introduced into the uterus, it will liberate small quantities of micrograms of progesterone. As you know, when the progesterone hormone is there, there is no question of implantation of the ovum into the mother womb. So this is all nothing but playing with the ovulation cycle. You see, from 16 years to 20 years, why there is high fertility, all menstruation, every month there is release of ovum. So there is greater chance of getting it goes for fertilization and pregnancy. After 20 years, there are so many anovulated cycles. Every cycle is not an ovarian cycle. Sometimes ovarian will not release. So this progesterone is also used in the same way. They will not induce, they will not allow, number one, they will not, they may help for the anovulated cycles, and number two, they may not allow the, even ovum is there, right? Stick to the endometrium and further. Then the general action from all these intrauterine contraceptive devices is they will a small irritation to the uterine cavity and produce lot of mucus, where the mucus will plug the internal os. There is no possibility, first of all, for the sperms to go through the internal os and enter into the ovarian, uterine cavity. It will stop. So this is the general action for all the intrauterine contraceptive devices, particularly copper T device and then progesterone impregnated intrauterine contraceptive device is also of same reaction. It depends. And it is the choice of the partner and couple, and also it is the advice of the doctor which intrauterine contraceptive is the best. Of course, nowadays we have stopped with pistol. In National Family Welfare Program, we are using copper T device 200, and another one copper T 380 B or something. Yes. These copper T devices are out. If you want to purchase outside, they're very costly. But in fertility clinics, in our government hospitals, maternity hospitals, they are given free of cost. Women can definitely utilize this service. So, what is the failure rate with this intrauterine contraceptive devices? Very minimal. That is also less than 3 women years, 100 women years. Just I told you, 100 women for a period of 1 year use this procedure. There may be 3 women who get pregnancy. And about the complications, I said complications are almost negligible. Because of fear. First of all, there will be fear. At the time of introduction itself, it will be painful procedure. Emma, it is such a painful procedure, but experience will be there with the mother. So till that mind is converted, she feels as if something is there in her womb. Doctor has done something that may be doing some harm to me. Like that will be all images. So over a period of time, they will get used to it, and they will continue, they will forget about it and happily have the bliss of marriage and then happily look after their children, and there is no trauma from the birth. Because there are no frequent births. The birth is there in your hands. Anyway, you want only 2 children. There is a spacing for first postponement for the first child. There is a lot of spacing for the second child. And afterwards, you can have this property device, and then you spend for some 5 years or so. Both the children will be before your eyes. They are very good. They are studying, right to education. They are going to Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, medium education, and everything. As I have already told you, the government, all the provisions created for this backward classes, financially backward classes. They can utilize all these services, and the world is wonderful. Our country is wonderful. Everybody knows about these procedures, these facilities given by the government, and it goes to every woman, every family, every member of the country. They can utilize these services, and we can definitely control our population as we wish by the year 2025. 1.5 billion is our most populous country in this world, and we have the advantage of demographic cycles, and then you'll have a lot of foreign exchange because our workers will go to foreign countries. They earn a lot of money. And you see, recently our Prime Minister's mission that Make in India policy. How many people know that today we are doing 30 billion worth of medicines we have been exporting to other countries? Do you know ours is the first country to produce large number of generic medicines in the entire world? India is the country, the first, stood first. How many people know about it? People just used to laugh at the time of announcing about the Make in India policy. Just Make in China, how can we become like that? Today, we have proved it. We have proved it. So many countries are depending upon us. So slowly, we have to get into this particular mood, and to the extent possible, we should try to help the helpless through PHCs, district hospitals, and of course various institutions. I think we will meet in the next class. If there are any doubts, we will see in the next class because there's no time now. I take leave. Oh,